Good morning, Rowdish Primary School, and I hope you're all incredibly well. I hope you've had a chance to light your candles and get ready for some collective worship together today. And it is me that is leading you today, and I am thinking all about families. But before I get into that, peace be with you. Super, thank you. So yes, Miss Oliver asked me to do an assembly about family. She mentioned earlier this week about some differences that may happen for people in our family and for different people that we might encounter in the world. And we spoke a little bit about that, and I know that Miss Holmes then did a lovely assembly all about rules, and families obviously have rules that are quite important as well, some things that maybe only happen in our household. And then today it just said on the assembly sheet, Mr. Yates, please can you talk about families? You can talk about your family if you'd like. And I thought, fantastic. There is nothing that I know more about than my family. This should be a really easy assembly. But you know, I was wrong. It's trickier than I first thought, because I've started having to think first of all about what is a family. If Miss Oliver has asked me to speak about my family today, who should I be talking about? And when I'm not sure about something, quite often I will Google it. So that was my first port of call. I Googled, what is a family? What does it mean? And this is what came up. This is the definition of family. So it's a bit like looking it up in a dictionary, which I could have done. But instead I searched online and it said family. It's a noun and it means a group consisting of two parents and their children living together as a unit. I thought, okay, well, that isn't necessarily how I would have described a family, but okay, I can talk about that, because Mrs. Yates and I, just down here, we are two parents. I'm a daddy. Mrs. Yates is mummy to my little boys. We are two parents, and we have our children. Let me just see if I can get a nice. There we go. That is Sam and Charlie, and we do live together as a unit in our house, I suppose. And I thought, okay, I could talk to you about them, because I've got Charlie that's 3 and Sam that's 5, and our house that we live in we bought and had to do lots of work to, and now we live together, and there are lots of family rules that we have at our house, like our bedtime is quite set, and the time the boys get up is set, and they have to wait for little son to come up, and I thought I could tell you loads about these guys. But the more I started thinking about it, I then got a bit confused again, and I thought, well, hang on a minute. I don't live with these people, but I would definitely call them family. So this man in the bunny ears, that's my dad. That's Sam with his grandpa, my dad. My dad is definitely in my family, but I don't live with my dad anymore. So that doesn't work for the definition. But he is definitely my family, and that made me think, well, hang on a minute, maybe Google, on this occasion, isn't right. Maybe family means more than just two parents living with their children in one unit. And I started to think more about different people. So here's another picture. This is Sam and Charlie with their cousins. So these are Mrs. Yates' sister's little boys. I'm their uncle, Joseph and Alexander, and they are part of my family. Definitely, whenever we have a big family Christmas, we get together with them and with their grandparents, Mrs. Yates' mum and dad. And when we have a family Christmas near us, then we get together with my mum and dad, who live quite close to me, and my sister Sammy. She's definitely in my family. So I started to think, well, Google must be wrong. And I thought, well, even more people. Here is a picture that was on my phone, and this is when Sam was quite young. He's wearing this stripy red top there. But that next to him is my nan. And my nan is definitely in my family. In fact, my nan is probably the head of our family. She always checks in on everybody, and she makes sure that everyone's okay. And next to her are my cousin's children. I thought, oh, my cousins are definitely in my family. And their children are definitely in my family. So all of a sudden, I know Google's wrong, and my family feels like it's growing by the second. But I can't talk to you about all of these people, surely. And then it got worse, because I thought, wait a minute. There are other people as well, and this here, that's Charlie, and he is next to one of my best friend, really, one of my best friends called Sam, and actually Charlie and my little Sam call this chap Uncle Sam. And we have lots of uncles and aunties that we call. So Auntie Christina, another one of my really good friends. And you know, they're not real aunties and uncles. And you might have this in your lives as well, when people that are very close to us in our family, maybe really close friends of mummy and daddy, we sometimes call them auntie and uncle, even when they're not our auntie and uncle. But do you know, I'm such good friends with Sam and with Sam's wife, Auntie Andrea, and their little girl, that I think they really do feel like part of my family. And well, frankly, it's rare that I think Google is wrong, but I definitely think Google must have been wrong on this one. Because not only is it about a mummy and a daddy and two other people, well, I've thought of lots of different households of people that are in my family, and even some of my very close friends that I would think of as being part of my family. And then I thought of somewhere else that I go if I'm a little bit confused about something, and that is to look in some books, and usually fact books are very good at explaining these things. But I found a fantastic picture book, and this picture book made it all clear for me. Everything made sense once I had read this story, and I'd like to read it to you now, and hopefully I think we'll learn a little bit more about what a family really is and how many different types of family there might be, but they are all families. Have a listen to this. Now, I should point out I couldn't get a copy of this story here at school, so this is a video of somebody in America that was turning the pages, and I've put my voice over the top, but they are not my lovely long elegant fingers. That was the lady who was turning the pages before. But have a watch and see if you can figure out what it is that makes a family. Families, Families, Families by Suzanne Lang and Max Lang. Some children have lots of siblings. And some children have none. Some children have two dads. Some have one mum. Some children live with their grandparents, and some live with an aunt. Some children have many pets, and some just have a plant. Some children live with their father. Some children have two mothers. Some children are adopted. Some have stepsisters and brothers. Some children bunk with their cousins. Some have a mum and a pop. Some children's parents are married. Some children's parents are not. So no matter if you have a ma, a pa, a hog, this llama, 10 frogs and a slug, and a cousin named Doug, a great grandma Betty and a great aunt Sue, uncles Hal, Al and Sal and Uncle Lou too, 1 stepsis, 3 stepbros, 2 stepmums and a prize-winning rose, a robot butler to serve you tea, the world's biggest grandpa, or whatever it might be. If you love each other, then you are a family. See? So as soon as I'd read that story, it all made sense. It's all about love. It doesn't matter what the definition of family is. Ultimately, if we love somebody, we can consider them a part of our family. And this is true of the church. So we often talk about a church family. It's true of our school family. If there is love, then we are in a family. We care about each other. So you're very lucky. Not only do you have the people that you live with in your house, in whichever form that might be, like in the story that we read there, and you might have more than one house that you share for your family, but also you have every member of our school that could be considered part of your family, because our school is built on love, as it says in our school prayer. You have the teachers, they are part of your school family, and they care about you and want the best for you. If you're a member of a church, then you have your church family as well. We are so lucky and so blessed to have so many people that we can call our family. Now, I'm going to come to the end of our collective worship this morning, and I hope that you've had a think about family and how lucky you are to have so many people in your family. And I realised, as I got towards the end of my assembly, that actually this week has been a bit of a week of special guests in assembly, because Mr. Smallwood had Miss Beaver and Tilly read their prayer at the end of her assembly, and Miss Holmes got an actor to read a story in her assembly, one of her good friends, Tom Hardy, and then I thought, oh no, I haven't had a special guest, and maybe it was something I should have done. But well, who on earth could I have as a special guest right at the end of my assembly to do the prayer for us today? And then it hit me, there was only one person in an assembly about families that I could invite to say a prayer for us today. So I'd like you please to put your hands together, close your eyes if that helps you, and leading our prayer today is my nan. Her name's Margaret, and I FaceTimed her, and she's recorded a special prayer all about her family.
Dear God, thank you so much for a lovely family. I love each and every one. I've got wonderful grandchildren, great grandchildren, which I thank you for every day. Amen.